So, someone comes over to your house.
Hi there, how can I help you?
Hi, I just need a place to stay. Sure, I got some space. Just tell me a bit about yourself. Well, I'm a fugitive and there are these slave hunters after me, and if I'm caught in your house, you might get arrested. Sure, no problem. Hi, my name is Jeremy, and welcome to Elwin Studios. Being a station master on the Underground Railroad was sort of like having a giant game of hide and seek, only with much higher stakes. Stakes like prison, fines, and enslavements for some. But there were the good times as well, when there was no bounty on your head or of the guests sitting in your living room. And speaking of the guests sitting in your living room, what do they need to travel across the country on their own? Well, you need food, water, clothing if they need it, of course, and rest until they're ready to go again. Now juggle having a guest with having somebody else out there looking for your guest and knowing that they would probably kick your door down and arrest you if they knew who your guest was. On top of that, you also have the daily things that happened in the 1800s. 3 meals a day back then would probably mean a full day's work in the 21st century. And let's not mention doing dishes. So with all that, a host and station master has to know what he's getting himself into. Because if hospitality means you're holding a runaway slave and they're under your protection, that means that there's somebody out there chasing after you too. And that means agents of the Underground Railroad had to be ready. The obvious risk comes with having your fugitive in one place for too long. A hunter could be running after you, and the gap between you and them is shortening every second that you're staying in the one place. So a station master had to balance between the comfort of their guest and the safety of their family. To deal with both these issues, conductors had to be prepared. They would sometimes have conductors ready to go, maybe wagons with false bottoms, maybe disguises, and of course they would always have some way to deter or slow down a hunter. Once a hunter came to a family's house with no warning, and so the fugitives jumped under the bed. Not the best place, I know. But then the station master was showing the hunter around the house, being courteous, while his wife went into the room and sat down in the chair and started reading a book. Doesn't seem like she's doing much, but you gotta remember, these hunters are not the law. So going into somebody's house without their permission and without a badge is one thing. But going into the lady of that house's room without her permission is sort of like going into a Gen Z friend's house without texting them first. Not wanting to bother the family any more than they already were, the hunters just quickly stepped into the bedroom where the wife was sitting, looked around, and left right away. Of course, there were people hiding under the mattress, and if they had looked around just a little more, they probably would have seen them. Fighting back was always an option, too, for station masters. People like John Rankin and his sons would always be ready with their guns whenever they had a fugitive in their house, and there was a slave hunter coming after them. This is not something that you would see a Quaker like Levi Coffin doing, but if done right, then your fugitives could have peace of mind in your house. Only if done right, though. John Rankin was a station master and preacher who lived right on the Ohio River, between a slave state and a free state. Risky, I know, but he had a lot of the townspeople on his side. Once, a pro-slavery gang came up to the house, but a bunch of neighbors and a bunch of friends of the Rankins came up to the house as well, just to protect them, and they scared off the slave hunters. Just like your food, station masters could not bite off more than they could chew. Some could take a few fugitives for a couple months without being detected. There were others, like John Rankin, who were practically famous for not letting one of their slaves get captured. And then there were others, like Levi Coffin, who could take in 17 fugitives for a day and let them go without any proof. So the dangers of hospitality for a station master would be different than the kinds of dangers that somebody in the hospitality industry would face today. Stuff like running, hiding, or fighting back. But maybe you would have to do all three. Maybe you wouldn't have to do any. But it all remained the same. When somebody came to your door, you would feed them, clothe them, give them some rest, and let them go. No matter what the stakes, no matter how dangerous it was. That is hospitality at its finest. And that was what the people did on the Underground Railroad. If you want to learn more about station masters or other roles on the Underground Railroad, you can click on this video here. Whichever one it is. Is it left side?